Yeah, hello. Thanks for having me here.
Yes, hello.
Well, I mean, taking pictures of yourself is pretty easy, but creating a compelling story around it, now that's the hard part. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so not every picture would sell as NFT, right?
no, but there's a lot of NFTs out there that sell for almost nothing just because people don't value them. And then there's some that sell for, what's the highest one right now? $10 million or so.
Wow. $10 million. But how is actually the process of, creating something and then to market it to the, let's say, now the marketplace is OpenSea. How do we get to that stage?
Right. Well, actually creating an NFT is not that hard because there's a lot of tools for that, and OpenSea makes it relatively easy. I still think there's a lot of room for improvement there, but it's definitely a lot better than it was in the past. If you wanted to create an NFT before, you had to code it yourself, but OpenSea will do that for you. But just because you put something on OpenSea doesn't mean that people are going to buy it, right? So you will see a lot of the extreme, like if you go to Times Square sometimes in New York, you will see advertisements for NFTs out there.
Yeah,
that's the length that people have to go through sometimes if they want to sell maybe at a $2 or $3 million scale or so.
Now, there's a term that I learned so far that I've only getting to know it just by the word of it, minting. So what you have to do is minting NFT, and it refers to converting that digital of photos or anything that you already made into cryptocurrencies or digital assets stored in the blockchain. Could you elaborate more on this? Because we need to have a great understanding before we proceed to sell NFT.
Because Alia just lost me at minting.
Exactly.
Okay. So the word minting is actually taken from the coin production era, or actually we still make coins, right?
Yeah.
So you have a stamp of metal, and then there's a die that has the impression of the coin you're trying to create, and you push them together, and it's minted, and a token and a coin is created, right? So it's actually minting is actually a pretty good description of that, because you could think that you're doing something like that virtually, right? So you can have a picture, and that would be maybe what you're trying to stamp. And then maybe some record of ownership. That's actually the really important part, because anyone can make a picture, but the record of ownership you can't copy. So when it's digitally created, that's when the NFT comes into existence, and that's what we call minting.
I see.
From the technical activities become the NFT term,
because
minting. So, Jeffrey, we've discussed about the importance of making a series of digital assets. So we assume we can get a more probability to get more rich by richer by joining the NFT. So you also have mentioned about how do we need to get the compelling storytelling from our digital assets. So maybe you can conclude and elaborate at the same time when we talk it at a platform OpenSea. So what are your OpenSea series maybe? And you can we upload a single photo or piece of art instead of a series?
Yes, yeah. So a bit about my experience with it. So I worked with and I'm still working with an Indonesian artist called Novel Abshar. So that's his name. And he's a very successful young contemporary artist out here. And so for him, the story is, I'm an established contemporary artist, and I want to move into the Web3 space, which is, you can see one of the artworks over there. And because, he already has a lot of believers, right? So the story is, I want to, move into this space, come join me. And that was a very compelling and successful story, because there's already a lot of people who want to buy his art. So getting an opportunity to buy it in tokenized form was, that's what people wanted. And in terms of actually creating it, we created the minting process on his website, so that wasn't done on OpenSea. But the outcome is essentially the same, because OpenSea is just giving you a view of what's on top of the blockchain. OpenSea doesn't actually own your token. So whether the minting is happening by a tool you use on OpenSea or by a tool that we created, either way, the NFT ends up on the Ethereum blockchain and people can see it.
All right. So
So-
it's interesting that you told us about the OpenSea is just giving us what's actually on top of the blockchain. So this being said, it's not only an OpenSea that we could sell or NFT. Can you tell us where, what else of the platform that we could sell the NFT?
Right. Rarible is the distant second. So OpenSea is a lot like Google, I would say. You know, there are other search engines, but they're all a lot smaller than Google. Rarible.com will give you a view of NFTs that are on the blockchain also. There are other NFT markets, but they will only show you NFTs that either they approve of or were minted on their platform. So whereas OpenSea and Rarible actually give you a view of everything. But something like Foundation is another common one. They curate their artists, so they behave a bit like a gallery. So they will actually show very few NFTs on there. They're only going to show the ones that they created.
Right. So if we see the
But to answer your original question, I forgot to mention the one versus series. So every NFT is a collection. All NFTs belong to a collection, but a collection can have only one item in it. So that's
so that's okay. We just
you can conceptualize it.
upload like one single art piece or one single photo. That would be acceptable as well.
absolutely,
I
yeah.
see.
So it's a collection of one.
Okay. Now, if we see the case of Ghazali, who was very successful in selling his NFT, he was also not a newcomer on cryptocurrency, right?
Yes.
So how do we require a crypto wallet for payments? For example, if we want to sell something like our NFT, for example.
Yeah. So unfortunately, this is still a long and convoluted process. So if you're a technology nerd, you might enjoy this. But if you're the sort of person who asks the other people in the house for help with tech, this might be a bit painful. So there's still progress to be made
I'm
here.
the latter one.
Yeah, it's okay. So Metamask, right? If you haven't heard of that, you will definitely hear about it if you enter the NFT space. So it's a browser extension that allows your browser to see what's on the blockchain. So you can download it from metamask.io. Don't download it from anywhere else. Some people try to imitate it and scam you. So be careful. But once you have that created, then you would need to purchase cryptocurrency, probably Ethereum, from say Indodax or Pintu or Toko Crypto, and then transfer it to your MetaMask. And from there, you have now you have an identity on the blockchain. So with that, you can either purchase other people's NFTs or create some on your own.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just, I'm just very, suddenly it popped up in my mind. So how is it going to be like for people in the future to post their photos, for example, in social medias and all that? How to actually make sure that somebody else is not, going to do anything with that specific picture or videos, for example?
Yeah, that's definitely a huge problem. I mean, if you're talking about copyright, I can just take a picture right now and create an NFT out of it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the token, it doesn't know what it's holding, right? It doesn't have a consciousness of legal ownership or social ownership, right? It's just if you tell it to create a token, it creates it. So right now, the only solutions we have around that are if someone say stole a picture of a photo that you have rights to, you can ask OpenSea to hide it. It will still be on the blockchain, but if it's not on OpenSea, I'd say almost nobody would be able to find it.
Right.
Okay.
It's become more interesting.
Yeah.
So yes, Jeffrey, let's take a study case.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we, as a news organization, let's say See Today, can we upload our news stories in video or audio format for NFT?
Or let's say our interview now.
Today, yeah.
Yeah, and our interview today, can it be made into NFT?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
really?
So I can
NFT,
make the
all
one
it
of
is.
the-
Okay,
haircut
I'm
then.
getting sacked right now.
any digital file can be made into an NFT. See, because an NFT is there. I think one thing that's a bit confusing about them is they think, oh, this NFT contains the actual digital asset I care about, whether it's a video, an audio, or a JPEG, say. But we already have, these file formats for video, audio, and pictures. So that's nothing. That's not new. what NFTs bring to the table is the ownership part can't be copied and pasted. And as long as it's in possession of your wallet, you can do whatever you want with it. You can sell it again, you can give it to somebody. So that part then has a reference to the actual asset that you care about, which may not be actually contained inside of the NFT. So that's, but because it can refer to anything, then that gives you a lot of liberty with what kind of file you want to tokenize.
Now, could
Tokenize.
OpenSea
Cool.
right now be the next, say, YouTube or TikTok or any kind of social media platform that generates money from people? Can creators start making money from the NFT platform being OpenSea?
Yeah, we're still in the early days. I mean, the total trading volume of NFTs, I think, per month is less than 10 billion typically, which might sound high, but 10 billion is a drop in the river compared to something like, say, Google, right? So it's hard to tell when, obviously, I believe NFTs are going to become a lot bigger. But when they do, is OpenSea going to continue to be the dominant player? I don't know. You know, MySpace was the dominant player in social media for anyone who remembers that. So there's definitely a lot of other companies who are noticing the profit potential around these things, and can OpenSea hold up against them? I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. But in terms of content creators making money, I think there's definitely potential for that, because you know, if you have a fan following, people like some sort of an interaction with the person they're the fan of, right? Whether it's a signed autograph, or maybe we signed the book for them, or just gave them a little gift or something like that. NFTs are a really fantastic way to do that. So if an artist takes a selfie, if a celebrity of some sort, whether it's a micro influencer on Instagram all the way up to a A-list celebrity, they can take a selfie, sign it, create an NFT out of it, and give it to a very happy fan, right?
Wow.
So.
I really feel that we're in a new normal, not in a new world, actually. All right, so can the creator earn royalties, let's say when the original NFT is being sold at a higher price? Or does the creator get a piece of payment if people use it, similar drawing, photos, or art on their website, for example?
Right, well, if people are transferring the token on OpenSea, say, or other platforms like it, then it is configured so that the artist will get a royalty. But if someone obviously copies and pastes the picture without taking possession of the token, then the artist will not get a royalty from that. That doesn't solve that problem. But in terms of, I actually received the actual NFT from that celebrity I'm a big fan of, and they signed it, right? That's actually in my possession. And if I were to decide to sell that, and I would have to use a marketplace like OpenSea, say. And if the artist configured OpenSea and said, hey, I'm the original author of this token, and here's proof of that, give me a 5% cut or something like that. That's pretty normal.
Okay, so probably one last question for me. While doing the research about you and also your work and stuff like that, and also looking at other people's project, I found like Gorilla Project, a something project, and you doing the Donkey Project. Can you actually explain to me what those are?
What those animals are.
Sure. The donkey. Well, so the donkey is a common theme in Nafal Abshar's work. So this is the next round of NFT collection we're working on. And so I saw a screencast of, there was the collection of apes going through. So it's very common for a collection of NFTs to all follow a common theme. And this one is following the donkey, because it's oftentimes used as a, something you look down on, but it's actually very hardworking. But we're taking it a step further, actually, because remember, NFTs are digital assets, so they can be components of a game. And that's what we're turning it into. And I think in the following, you had a slide that follows right after this one. I can't give away too much because we haven't announced it to our customers, but we know, let's just say the donkeys really like art and they're willing to steal it. So that's what the game is oriented around, which is why you can see some suspicious creatures over there. And so we'll give people opportunity to participate in an art heist digitally.
Art heist.
And
interesting.
Yeah. So Doma is Donkey Museum of Art.
So basically, you can name your NFT series after anything in the world.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, just like if an artist creates a an art piece, they can call it untitled if they wanted to, right? I think some people actually do that.
Now I
or what was that
understand.
music song that was 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence, and they
Yes.
just called it 433. So we didn't be that cheeky. I think our collection is actually somewhat descriptive. I hope so.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much for your
Thank
explanations.
you.
I hope that we understand quite much from this short explanation and conversation,
Yeah.
and probably we'll meet you more shortly.
Yeah, this is still the early stage of
Yep.
NFT, so
Yep.
I think we have to still learn a lot from you as well. Thank you so much,
Oh yeah,
Jeff.
thanks. Follow us on donkeyverse.com. So it's donkey without a Y.
All right.
Donkey without a Y.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Jeff.
donkeyverse.com.
Take care and see
Yeah.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Interesting.